What's happening, guys? Happy Saturday. I got to tell you something. You guys are listening to me, but you're watching the fights, right? And I know that might seem like an obvious question, but some of you may not know because I was one of those people. So I got Vince right over here. You won't see him on camera. He's directing this. I got Ryan producing it in California. He's on Skype, also out of view, but you're probably going to hear his voice a couple of times today. We were all planning to meet here tonight, like a normal fight. We were going to meet here at 7 o'clock. Call the fights. And then Vince and I were thinking, sometimes they go 6 o'clock. We better check this out, right? We're Portland time. We better check this out. We look into it. They started like 8:30 out here. Main card at noon. So here we are. But I got to tell you, in the nick of time. So, and I still don't know how the card's unfolding. And I went to the website. By the way, I went to UFC.com. I did not find this out. It tells you everything you want. This guy's fighting this guy, and they both made weight, and the order of the lineup. It didn't tell you the time. Not only did it not tell you the time, it didn't even tell you how to watch. Like, by example, this one's on ABC. I mean, people have to know that. I only bring that to you because if you were at all like me and you thought, oh, I'll just stop over on Chael's YouTube page, see what's up, you can have even more fun. You click your TV over to ABC and we'll all go through this together. But I don't know how long this show goes. I thought when I got here, we'd be calling the main event. So I showed up revving to go. Vettori versus Holland, very interesting match. This is going to be a straight up brawl if Vettori makes it one. I have a little bit of inside information I'm going to share with you guys as this fight gets a little bit closer. But when I say if Vettori chooses to make it one, it's relevant. In fact, here, let's get the inside info out of the way right now. Vettori does not want and did not like and is not into the link that he's going to have to deal with Holland. Okay, why? Why would that be a problem? Well, I'll tell you, if you ever have a problem with Link, it's because you don't know how to get inside, or you don't want to get inside, or you're going to get hurt as you come inside. Kevin Holland specifically turns sideways, kicks you right in the stomach. He's going to do that to Vettori tonight for sure. He just has long enough legs, even if Marvin knows it's coming, can't deal with that till he gets inside. So if Vettori comes in here, just because Vettori doesn't love the length, that doesn't mean that he is apprehensive about going and dealing with it. I'm just sharing with you if. This is an if. If Vettori has some kind of a problem that we don't know, that he would know about himself from the practice room. If he has some kind of a problem with long guys where he wants to stay at bay, it's the worst thing you can do. If you have any trepidations about getting inside, you guys know what that term means? It means you're here and he's here and you get to hear. You have any trepidations about getting inside into your range where you can touch him, it's going to be a long and terrible night for you. You have to deal with that anyway, and you have to deal with it first. As soon as the referee says, go, let me close this space. Does that mean I'm going to get hit? Okay, fine, then I'm going to get hit. I'll deal with that later. Does that mean I'm going to get kicked? Yeah, then that means I'm going to get kicked. I'll deal with it later. If you come in anything less than that mindset, that's where guys stay on the outside and you end up not having a fight all night. Or they get picked apart, right? I'm throwing some of these terms at you that you hear, but I also want to explain to you where they become relevant and what they mean. Because the next time we all see each other in this format is going to be for Askren versus Paul when they're boxing. So I do need you to understand just a little bit of the vernacular. When we're talking about range, we're talking about inside, we're talking about outside. We're talking about southpaws, talking about orthodox, talking about foot movement, talking about a check hook, a counter right hand. Some of these things we have to know these terms. So if Vettori does the opposite, does what he usually does, which is to say to hell with it and gets in there. All right, here we got the Cuban Missile Crisis. We got the Cuban Missile Crisis taking on my former teammate, training partner, Sam Alvey. I don't know a whole lot about Marquez. Julian Marquez, I believe is his name. That's what we're going to call him. I just know he asked out Miley Cyrus, and he caught my attention. That's what I know about him. I know his team. I know Lionheart gets some rounds with him. I know James Krause is the head corner man. James Krause might just be brilliant, by the way. When it comes to this sport, fighter IQ, tactic, strategy, knowing each individual athlete and treating them each differently within their skill set, James Krause might be a genius. He is definitely amongst the best that I have ever seen, and he's very young. He's going to make his name in this sport from the outside. As well as he does inside the cage, he's going to make a bigger name for himself outside. All right. So Marquez and Sam Alvey, a whole lot of nothing is going on, quite frankly. Marquez is stalking him. Sam Alvey has moved. Like if Sam Alvey didn't move at all right now and the horn blew, he would be where he needs to be to start the next round. He has not moved 1 foot out of started to right now. He's there for the next round. All right. 10. Sam Alvey, I used to train with him. I can see that now. Did not know that about him. All right, these guys are trading. They're not showing any signs that they're going to wrestle. Generally, when I see Sam punching like this, he's doing that to get a reaction, to come underneath, try to either get a hold of you in a clinch, try to get to a double leg and drag you down to the mat. Marquez has shown him every reaction he'd ever want. Alvey has seen every reaction he would ever want to try to get a takedown and has not tried one, which is telling me that's not what's happening tonight. He's changed up his strategy. A very risky game he's playing. But both guys are playing it, right? You got a 50% chance, but so far this is a very risky game, particularly since the Cuban Missile Crisis is walking him down. Sam still has not left the starting area. Don't think you guys need to correct me. I'm well aware that he's circled, but you get my point. He is electing to keep his back up against the fence for reasons that are completely unknown to me. I've never seen Sam do this, and this includes in our days in practice. And quite frankly, I'm being hard on Sam right now because I know Sam. He's doing just fine. This fight is a pick'em contest. I mean, these guys are kind of going back and forth here. Sam is not doing a bad job. I'm just confused at who I'm seeing. He's not fighting like Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey's not fighting like Sam Alvey. That's a weird experience for me. All right, Marquez wisely changes elevation and goes to the body. Now he's back upstairs. Good 1-2. Sam's hurt. Sam's hurt bad, but he's popping. Sam's tough. Sam Alvey is freaking tough. He is hurt right now, though. I don't know if Marquez knows it or he'd be swarming him. One thing that happens when you keep your back on the fence, it is not like boxing with the ropes. It's similar to boxing with the ropes, but it is not like boxing with the rope in that if you go back, you can't sit your ass out through the ring. You can't drop your shoulders back and you lean back through the ring. You are extremely contained as to where you're going to be. And if a guy steps in for your head, you've still got a little room to go. But if he drops elevation and goes for your body, you're stuck. Marquez has done that one time and he landed. Why he hasn't gone back to the body, I don't know. And Sam Alvey is refusing to come off of this fence. It is Sam's choice. Marquez is not pinning him on the fence, guys. Sam is electing to stay where he is. And I trust has a reason for it. Maybe he'll show us here in a second. I haven't figured it out yet. Alvey with a head kick there. Marquez is just head hunting. Like I told you guys, he went to the body one time and he succeeded. But he didn't go back to the body. It's very, very bizarre. Good fight. I mean, I'm being a little critical. If you guys are only hearing my voice, I'm being a little critical. I mean, we got some good action here. It's just hard from my standpoint, right? I'm giving you guys an analytics. I'm giving you an analytical breakdown. One of the jobs that I do isn't what's happening right now. My job is to predict for you where they're going to go. I can get the clues. If I see some movement, I get Sam Alvey standing against the fence. I don't have a single clue. I guess we're going to stand right here and just keep playing fisticuffs. And this round is almost down. Now, Sam has almost entered the middle of the cage, and he's quickly retreated back. He is now elected to put his own back against the fence again. If he was taking on a wrestler, you would see what a big problem this is. Because Marquez is just choosing to box with him. Marquez isn't even making him guess. He's not even slipping a kick in or lifting a kick and feinting it or feinting a takedown. He's not even making him guess. I got to tell you, that was kind of a weird round. And it wasn't a bad round. I'm making it sound like it was a bad round. I will settle in on weird round. Sam Alvey never left the area where he was standing in when the referee said, "Are you ready?" Never. Marquez goes to the body one time, succeeds, never goes back to the body. Neither of them even feinted wrestling. The threat of wrestling is almost equal to being a good wrestler. Keep that in mind. If any of you are young or aspiring athletes, you're thinking, or fighters, I really don't know much about this wrestling business. I wish I would have done that in junior high. I wish I'd have done that in high school. Pretend. If you go out and pretend you're a good wrestler, if you go out and give looks, you give feints, you create a threat of wrestling, you will get the same reaction and have just as many benefits as the guys who've done it their whole life. Both of these guys know how to wrestle a little bit, and neither one of them offer the threat of wrestling. Let's see. Let's see if that changes here. If one of them double crosses and flips the script, they will succeed. Because both guys think that they've got this unwritten agreement that we're just going to stand up and box. They made that very clear for 5 minutes. If one of them pulls the double cross, we'll give him credit for doing a rope-a-dope, but I'm not seeing it. Sam Alvey, yet again, he can go anywhere he wants. Marquez is not pinning him. Sam Alvey is electing to fight with his back up against the fence. I have never seen, in my entire life, I've never seen a guy elect to be here. I've seen his opponent cut off the ring and force him here. Again, Sam was free. He backed up again. He wants to be here. I just haven't figured out why. I don't know what strategy he's invoking. And I don't know what options he feels he's gaining. Marquez doing a good job of flinching him, but is not going back to the body. He's thrown one body shot. He landed it perfectly. Marquez with a good straight there. Alvey fully recovered. Marquez won that last round, even put Alvey down to a knee at one point, but Alvey's fully back. Tough. He's a tough guy. I must give him full credit, Sam Alvey. He is a tough guy. Marquez, again, okay, there Marquez digs to the body and lands. And then quickly proceeds to stop going to the body. Showing a left to the body and a right to the body has Marquez. Both of them got through. Mark Smith officiating this one. Oh, Marquez again goes to the body and again succeeds. Marquez with a good hook there. He's got Sam a little bit stunned. Now he's got Sam really stunned. All right, Sam coming down to a double leg. Sam might get this. This is interesting to me because this is the first attempt at wrestling by either guy. Marquez is going to punch himself out or win this fight by a TKO. Sam better get moving. Okay, Marquez is spun around all the way behind and has his hands locked around the neck. Oh, Sam's out. Ref, for goodness sakes. Man. I'm sitting in West Lynn, and I know Sam Alvey's asleep, and the referee that's in there, I mean, right, in all fairness, we don't like to pick on officials, but in all fairness, come on. How could I possibly see that from home, and you can't see that in there? All right, guys, this fight is over. Marquez dropped Sam Alvey, went to the chin, put Sam down, spun around behind him, and Sam was a little bit not knowing where he was, out of it, I think is the expression. So he didn't offer a defense, and now all of a sudden Marquez is behind him, Sam's sitting on his butt. This isn't a hooks in situation. This is just a straight up reach down and strangle. We call it a strangle. If you ever come to the bicep and you do the technique right, then we give you the beautiful word of rear naked choke. There's also something called a strangle. Get your arm around, you just lock your hands. It's just a mean, nasty move. You push your shoulder in, you pull your lock the opposite way. You start one way, then you pull it the opposite way. Called a strangle. Marquez strangled him all the way to Sam went limp. They're showing the final exchange here in slow motion. Marquez really did a good job of knowing where he was because he was starting to get tired there, and that's going to be a problem. You punch yourself out. He kind of knew his body well enough to know, you know what, I've thrown enough punches. Let me just spin around and get out of here. And Sam was just not intelligent enough at this point to defend himself. Might have. Went all the way to sleep. It's never good if an athlete goes all the way to sleep. Even in a sport like mixed martial arts where that's allowed. It's still treated the same as a sport like amateur wrestling or judo, where it's not allowed. You are not allowed to choke a guy. Choking him at all is illegal. So if the guy goes all the way out, not only has the referee missed that a choke was even happening, but he allowed him to go all the way unconscious. A referee will be flagged for that. And in the amateurs, there's a process, much like with the pros, where you work your way to a black belt, get signed to the major organization, work your way up the card. All of a sudden, you're in a main event or a title fight. Referees have something similar in the amateurs where they are graded. And over a course of 4 years, the highest grades are the guys that get to go into the Olympic Games. By example, if you ever got a guy get choked out, you've screwed up twice in one match. You first off didn't see a choke was in place. So the guy went all the way to sleep. I only bring that to you because even within the pros where it's legal, if you see a guy go unconscious, a referee has made a mistake. If you see a guy like Sam who is unconscious and a guy like me is yelling from his living room and the referee still is letting him get straight, he's made a bigger mistake. All right. All right, let's see if this is official. We got to hear the interview, right? We got to hear, because if
Chael,
Marquez has the sense that God gave Geese, he will give us all an update on his status with Miley Cyrus.
We got to hear, because if
The only thing anybody wants to know is where that date is at. And I have a feeling that Marquez doesn't know that we're all on this journey, but I have a feeling he's not going to say anything. But on the off chance that he does, we don't want to miss it. Ryan, you saying something to me? Ryan, I think I heard you say something, RP. Ryan?
Thoughts on Izzy.
I think I heard you say something.
My thoughts on Izzy? My thoughts on Izzy? Okay. All right, Marquez gets the win. Maybe we're not going to get an interview. Maybe he's not an interview spot. I thought he did a good job last time. I thought he should. I think if he does an interview spot, it will do well. I think that people want to hear. And I seem to remember there was something with the Miley Cyrus thing where he had to shave his chest, or he had to shave something into his. I'm trying to check out his chest here, which is groomed in some fashion. And I'm wondering if that's a nod. I'm wondering if that's a nod to Miley to put this whole thing together. All right, we're looking at a quick exchange here. Quick replay here of the exchange. Where these guys are at in the fight is where this entire 8-minute fight took place, which was with Sam Alvey up against the fence. And you can see in this particular situation where Sam could simply back up, right? Imagine you guys get in a fight and something bad's happening that you don't want to happen. Well, if you can take a step backwards, you're in a pretty good place, right? That's the problem when the fence is behind you. One of the many problems when the fence is behind you. But defensively, it's a tremendous pain in the ass. You guys remember Khabib. I mean, Khabib made a career pressuring you, cutting you off, and pinning you against the fence. He would use that same thing for every single setup that he had to bring the guy down to the canvas to go to work on him. Point being, Khabib would work hard. He would strategize. He would study. He would plan to get you in the spot that Sam Alvey elected to put himself in tonight. And it does, and again, you can see it right here on the replay. But as Marquez gets going, Alvey tries at one point to step backwards. Makes sense, right? There's nowhere to go. The fence is there, which is why old Chael's been harping on this all night, because I like Sam Alvey. I like Sam Alvey, but I don't like his placement in the cage, and I'm not sure why he did that. I'm picking on the guy while he's down, but I'm picking on a guy that I care about, just to make that clear. I'm coming at this from a loving point. All right, all I can see is Marquez right now. He's talking to Daniel. I just realized I can't play this for you guys because this is actually owned by ABC. I can't turn this volume. So I don't know what Marquez is saying, but I will tell you, he's got me interested. He's moving around. He's speaking with his hands. He's saying something. He's getting a laugh from Cormier. So something is happening here.
Tyreek Hill, I challenge you guys to a badminton or pickleball competition. Straight up, if you guys want to see who the pound for pound.
All right, he just challenged somebody to a pickleball competition.
This magnificent beard tops.
And I got to tell you, I got nothing against the weirdo crowd. Like, I mean, there's a place for it. John Dodson cornered the nerd market for years. But I mean, there's a place for that. It just has to happen organically. If you just happen to be a nerdy guy, other nerds will come to you. When you look like a pretty cool guy like Marquez, but you're trying to be a nerd, I don't know. I would check that marketing. Myself. And I say that too because I think that Marquez has made a lot out of 2021. He's been up 2 times. He's been featured on TV on both. I think he's in a good place. 2 dramatic finishes. I think he's in a good place. And I think he might have underserved himself there trying to be funny with this pickleball business. All right. Shevchenko and Andrade is getting advertised in front of me here. Oh, Wei Lee and Rose. About time. That's April 20. Oh, gosh, that's next weekend. April 24th. Is that next weekend? Following week. 2 weeks. I think that's the night that Askren's taking on Paul, by the way. Boy, talk about a fight that I don't think was ever supposed to be a big fight. Oh, this is the Jacksonville card. The Jacksonville card's in 2 weeks. That was Usman and Masvidal. They're fighting this month. Oh, geez, they might be fighting on the same night as I got to look into that.
How many pay-per-views does it do? Askren Paul.
Askren Paul. How many pay-per-view? A million would be a good guess. That might sound small to you guys, by the way, because you've heard. Yeah, this fight did a million in the world of pay-per-view is a unicorn. It is such a rarity, and that's back when pay-per-view was a thing. I mean, back when pay-per-view was the way to watch the mega fights of the world, 1 million was a home run. I can tell you, I had the second largest. I apologize. I had the largest live gate of all time. Personalizing this, but numbers that I know because I had access to them. Largest live gate in MMA history, and one of the largest pay-per-views. It was against Anderson. We barely cleared 1 million. To put that into perspective, barely. And at that time, we were one of the I think it was fourth. I can't recall now. And the absolute largest live gate, very anticipated match, and we barely did 1 million. And I think that Paul versus Askren will do 1 million. Yeah. Well, you guys will know from my YouTube page. But that's not only an audit, it's a public audit. I could never deny those numbers or change those numbers. You have the same access. I don't have any access by owning the page than you guys have by just scrolling down and seeing how many people look. I bring that to you because we did a piece here like 2 or 3 weeks ago on Askren and Paul. And it wasn't some great piece. Like, I didn't have Askren on. I didn't have Paul on. It was just me sitting here talking about these two guys. It did 723,000 views in 48 hours. And I was sitting there with my partner, Ryan. We're going through, what is this? This was never supposed to do this. Let's do another one. Maybe it was just some weird day and the YouTube algorithm and it got spread around. Let's do another. We do another one. There's like 500,000 views. Now it's almost like I'll go out of my way to talk about Askren and Paul because it's such incredibly good business. But when I bring that to you, when I tell you that almost 800,000 people want to hear me talk about these two guys for 5 minutes, yeah, man, I think 1 million people are going to want to actually see the guys. That's what I think. I don't have any better rationale. There's better analytics to do than that, but those are mine. So I'm just sharing with you how I've come to that conclusion, not to mention Paul has done 1 million before. I mean, right? History is the best trajectory for the future. Did like 1.6. Now it's hard. Mike was on the card. Iron Mike's big comeback. Iron Mike. And the way this will work in the world of promotion, all credit will go to the main event. And moreover, all credit will then be taken by the winner of the main event, even if he's not the one that brought the eyeballs in. But moving forward, the promoters and the media will credit the success not only to the main event, but to the winner of the main event. People deemed that Mike Tyson won. Now, you might also think Mike Tyson won, but if you remember that night, it was a draw. Everybody's forgotten it was a draw. And just credit it to Iron Mike, which is why they're getting ready to roll out the red carpet and pay him a whole bunch of money for his next fight. I think they might be looking at it wrong. I think it might be Paul that brought in these eyeballs. Paul thinks that. Paul agrees with me. That's why Paul has left and is no longer co-main eventing. He is going to headline his own card. He thinks he was the draw. I share that with you because while none of us actually know the answer, one of those two guesses is right. That was either Mike is going to do great business or some promoter is going to grossly overpay Mike and go out of business, which is what most boxing guys do, right? The leaders of boxing are no smarter than the dum-dums that are doing the sport. But the same thing goes for Paul. And I think Paul's going to be on the right side of this. I think that Paul was the driving force. I think that Mike was very interesting. But there was a lot of people come from my age group. We were going to watch that for nostalgia. Sure we were. Iron Mike Tyson, of course we're going to watch that. There was a lot of people that I had to talk to that I had to tell them who he was. They were just too young. They just missed the Mike Tyson era. Got some kids that I work with that I coach in wrestling, college kids though, that 18 to 22-year-old. I had to tell them who Mike Tyson was. So it's one of those things where I'm not certain the credit doesn't go to Paul, and we're going to find this out. We're going to find this out both ways. Find it out when Askren fights Paul, see what those numbers are. If that's some crazy number, the promoter that is now dumb enough to give Mike Tyson real money to do a fight is going to be sweating bullets. He's going to be trying to get out of that fight. Trust me when I tell you this. All right. All right. We got somebody warming up here. Looks like a perfectly nice guy. And he's still got a fight tonight. Where are we at from the main event, guys? I will tell you, when I came to talk to you today, I thought we were just doing the main event, but I did that fully based on start time. And then I tried to get, well, is this show over at 2 o'clock? If it's over at 2 o'clock, is this show go till 3 o'clock? Are we doing it? Are we together for 2 hours here? I think we might be. But I'm also trying to guess. We got some fights being advertised right now. Is this the co-main event? If anybody knows that answer, Ryan, Vince, if anyone could tell me if this is the co-main event, would be handy. Because Mike Perry already fought. I missed that one. I missed Perry's. I wanted to see it. Mike Perry's got something for me. There's just some kind of an it factor there when Mike Perry's the one doing it. I watched him on Instagram pull over in traffic and save a turtle. So no words were spoken. He pulled his car over because a turtle was in traffic who he spotted. He saved the turtle and carried him off the road to safety, and I thought it was compelling. I mean, I just think Mike Perry is an interesting guy, and I think you guys agree with me. So the mere fact that Perry was on this card and is long done before I even got here, and there's still a co-main event, I would think that there must be something special in the co-main event. I'm wondering if that's next.
Yeah, this is co-main, Chael.
All right, and who do we got, Ryan? Who's in the co-main?
Arnold Allen versus Siddique Youssef.
Ooh. Arnold Allen versus Siddique. That's a fight right there. That's a good fight. I don't know if that's a big fight. I don't know if those are names people are going to stop what they're doing to see, but I will tell you, if you have stopped, you're going to be in for a treat. These guys can get down. That is very unlikely to go the distance. You know, as we're looking forward to the main event, guys, there's a lot on this, and there's a lot on it only for one guy. And we'll see this in MMA all the time, where you'll be in like a semifinal match, where Dana might even come out and say, if this guy wins, he's going to fight for the title. But that isn't true for his opponent. So it's like a semifinal match, but it's got different things on it for each guy. I only bring that to you because Vettori's in the talks. Absolutely he is. If you're to look at the big middleweight fights booked right now, it's this one. It's Vettori taking on Holland. Holland's already said, I'm going down to 170. So he's taken himself out of title contender talk. He can't win this fight, all of a sudden go for a title when he says he's changing weight classes. Great, hold that thought. What I'm saying is, but Vettori can. And who Vettori is competing with is apparently, as it appears for what we have right now, Whitaker Gastelum. The issue there, before you start talking about who's ranked higher or who's better or who's more likely to beat Izzy, that's not the question. The question is, who is Izzy most likely to accept the challenge from? I don't have the answer to that. I'm following the golden rule of put myself in someone else's shoes. How would I act? If I were Izzy and I were the champion, I would want to spread it around. I would not be looking for rematches as long as there were new matches. I would go to the rematches once I was done with the new matches. So I think in that regard, Angry Marvin Vettori is in a very good spot. He's still got to get the nod and the blessing of Adesanya, but I think he's in a good spot to do it. That's just what I think. By the way, you guys seeing what I got here? Hayabusa gloves. My original glove. I must tell you, my original glove that I ever had, and I couldn't afford them. They were a gift to me from my old coach, rest his soul, Robert Fallis. But Hayabusa has come on to help sponsor the show. I go, all right, great. What do I do for you guys? And they said, tell everybody our website. Tell them to go to HayabusaFight.com. I go, that's it. They go, yeah, just tell them where they can get the gloves. I go, well, all right, I'll tell you where they can get the gloves. You go to Hayabusa Fight, which is a lot easier way of getting the gloves than I had to go about getting the gloves because I got them earned from my coach, but I had to do certain things, really hard things to get them. So you guys can get a pair at HayabusaFight.com. And let me spell that for you because Hayabusa is a little bit hard. HAYABUSA. HAYABUSA Fight.com. There's no promo code. You don't need to enter Chael or do anything like that. HayabusaFight.com. Here's the deal. For the next hour, for the next 1 hour, free shipping and a 90-day money-back guarantee. Boom. HayabusaFight.com.
There's a link in the description.
Or they can click a link in the description right under the YouTube. Or you can apparently right on this YouTube page, we've got a link. A link put up. You know, I followed one of those yesterday, by the way. True story. I was watching somebody's YouTube, and this came up, and this guy was like, I've made $100,000 this month, and he was pulling out bank statements, and he didn't say what the business was or how he did it, but he was energetic enough, right? You've seen guys like this. The whole shtick when you make one of those is just get an emotion. Not, you don't want to teach anybody anything or tell them what your business is, but you want to get an emotion to get them to take the next step. I took the next step. I happened to be bored. I clicked on it. Next thing I know, I'm on a Zoom call. I'm on a Zoom call with the guy. And he said, well, what'd you think of the video? And I told him the truth. I said, I think your video succeeded. It created emotion with telling me absolutely nothing about your business. So the reason I'm on this call, I just want to know. I'm just curious. I came across it. I clicked on the link. I feel like I deserve to know what it is you're selling. And you should have seen how frustrated this guy got. He could not form a word. And he said, well, did you watch the video? I said, yeah, I watched the video. He says, well, it's all very clear in the video. Now, let me just stop you guys right there. Okay. If you are a businessman of any kind and you have any kind of a product to sell, you would be able to relay that to any interested customer in 10 seconds or less. You would have this down in your head. I mean, this is what you do for a living. This guy never got it out. He was so fluttered and frustrated that I didn't know what it was. The video he wanted me to watch was 30 minutes. Nowhere in there did he ever say what he was selling. Nowhere on the call with him did he ever say what he was saying. He couldn't say it. He kept saying e-learning. It's e-learning. Well, we'll do this, and it's for e-learning. E-learning is $1 billion industry right now. Warren Buffett even says so. I mean, like, this guy's pitch was so bad. And I finally stop him and I go, what does e-learning mean? Do you mean electronic learning? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, so we're selling electronic learning. He goes, yeah. I go, okay, but do you have the courses? Like there's a DVD or somebody orders this from you? Or does a guy like me come and I create the content? And he goes, no, it's already created. He was so frustrated, though. He was so angry that I didn't know. And don't forget, the next step for me, once he has me on a Zoom call, the next step for me is to take out my credit card. I'm one step away from being a retail buyer. And he was still aggravated. So I don't know what hustle this guy was doing. I still haven't figured out the scam. I asked him flat out, what is it you're selling? I said, I got a lot of viewers. I'll tell them about it if this makes a level of sense. I don't know what he was selling. And apparently, oddly, he doesn't know what he was selling. All right. True story, by the way. All right. Two knuckleheads in the ring. Let's figure out who's who here. I don't have my glasses on. Ryan, who do we got here in the ring?
Siddique Youssef is in the
all right, Siddique.
green shorts, African-American man.
And Siddique is going to take on Arnold Allen. We're going to go with Siddique, and we're going to go with Allen for calling this fight. I'm familiar with both these guys. These guys can get down. They can get down with their hands. They're heavy. I've always been impressed with Siddique's defense, so I should probably throw that out because I do not think this fight is going to go all 15 minutes. So now the question, well, then who do I think is going to win? You know what? I don't know, but Youssef's hard to hit. He's hard to get to. Allen is very patient, though. I never liked fighting guys like Allen, myself. Guys that were hard to frustrate. Allen's very calm. He can hit the reset button over and over if he has to. You start to get him tired. You start to drain on him. You start to score a few good points. And all you're trying to do in a fight is to get a guy to check out mentally. As soon as he mentally gives up, that's what the fight is. Or you know what? As bad as I think you want this a little bit. This comes down to. And there's all sorts of ways to get that done. You got to hit him, maybe you got to put him in a position. Maybe you got to yell at him like Kevin Holland does. There's all sorts of ways. What you're really trying to do is get that guy to say, I don't want this as bad as I thought I wanted it. All the training, all the sacrifice, it wasn't enough. It looks like you trained and you sacrificed more. Tonight, you're not. And even if you make that decision for a split second, you can win. You can win. But I will see Arnold get to that point and reset. Kamaru Usman would be the finest example. I have never in all my days in sport, not just this one. My uncle was an Olympic champion, a two-time NBA champion. I mean, I know sport. I lived at the Olympic Training Center. I know sports. I know a lot of sports people. In my life, I've never seen anybody as powerful up here as Kamaru Usman because he can reset. He doesn't worry about what's already happened or what's going to happen. He can live in the moment. And anytime he starts to get frustrated, he can reset. It's unbelievable to watch. All right. Youssef, Allen. Oh, Allen's moving well. Youssef stocking and pumping a jab. Oh, Youssef with a reach. I love when guys do that. Just reaches his hand out. Now, that's for measurement. You don't always have to hit a guy to know where he is. Sometimes just put your hand out and walk him down. When your hand touches him, there's where he is. That's what Youssef did, threw a kick right to the leg. Not to mention this, when you post like this, also block a guy's vision. All right, Allen on top. I did not see that coming. I don't think this was Allen's original plan. I think Youssef was a little quick for him there, and Allen thought, well, let's go down to the mat. Nobody appears to be more surprised with this takedown than Allen because he's doing nothing. He doesn't know what to do. He's done a total of nothing, but appears that he doesn't even know what to. First thing you're going to have to do to hit him, Allen, is let that lock go with your hands. You're going to need your hands. All right, Allen stepping over the leg here. Youssef wall walking just a little bit. Allen has got a body lock. He's keeping that lock desperately. Well, if your hands are locked, it becomes a question. If I have my hands locked around you, here's the question, guys. Do I have you? Or do you have my hands? See where it becomes a problem? My hands are tied up. They're too busy to hit you. They're too busy to submit you. I need my hands. Any job, got to have your hands. Used to work in construction. I will tell you, framing, I need my hands. Put your hands in your pocket, foreman, and send you home. Got to have your hands. Oh, Allen with a body shot. Good job, Allen. Allen stumbled here.
What's the opportunity like for these guys? A co-main event on a network card.
Oh, big opportunity. You know, when you're co-maining, don't forget, guys always want to talk about their ranking. Ranking doesn't matter. I don't know what any of these guys are ranked. And the truth is, you don't know either. You don't know what anybody's ranked. But guess what? We know who the co-main event is, don't we? We know who the main event is, don't we? These guys sit around, these fighters and managers, and they argue about their ranking. Who cares? At least in comparison to where am I on the card? Fight anybody you want me to if I'm in a feature match. I bring that to you because we want to talk about opportunity. We want to talk about eyeballs and ABC. These are all real things. I mean, they're lazy. They would show not a very sophisticated understanding of the sport, but you at least have said the right things. Co-main event. You don't win in a co-main event and then come back in less. If you win in a co-main event, you will return in a just like champion. Champion doesn't win, have the championship, and then return to a non-championship fight. If you're in a co-main event, now this is policy, this is a broad stroke, but it's also a strategy that nobody looks at. You will never heard this before from anybody else. If you win in a co-main event, you don't return to less than a co-main event. Well, if you go forward, you go to a main event. You can't go above a main event except for a title fight. That is how you get title fights. Not you beat the number 5 guy and then beat the number 3 guy and then beat the number 2 guy. That is a sucker's approach. It's everybody's approach. It was probably yours until I just told you this. But that's not what you want to care about. What's the guy ranked? What's my placement on the card? Who do you want me to fight and where on the card do you want me to fight him? Okay, great. Hang up the phone. You've got all your answers. All right, these guys are back to their feet. Allen has been a little better defensively than Youssef. I've got to tell you that. Youssef looks a little bit quicker, but he's not doing quite the head movement I've seen him do in other fights. Allen's a little bit hard to get to. Allen has now got Youssef up against the fence here. He's clinched up. Big problem. Allen's focusing on his lock. He's focusing on keeping his hands locked around the... You need your hands. Don't lock your hands. If you ever have to grab your hands in a fight, 1 second and let it go. 3 seconds. In no circumstance should you ever be there more than. Allen has his hands locked and has the majority of this fight. Had a takedown, had his hands locked. Couldn't hit the guy. Has him up against the fence, has his hands locked. Can't hit the guy. And he's really focusing on this lock. He's focused. He's squeezing. He's trying to stay in this position. But he can't hit the guy. He can't do anything if his hands are locked. Becomes a big question, guys. Do I have you or do you have my hands? A single leg is where this is easiest to see in this sport. There has never been a meaningful fighter to succeed with a single leg that wasn't named Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman had a way to get in there, get you off balance or elevate you and get you down to the canvas quickly on a single leg. No other fighter has done that. And I encourage the guys I work, don't lock your hands around one leg. If you can get 2 different, don't ever lock them around one leg because you don't have his leg. He has your hands, right? If you're holding my leg, what's stopping me from doing whatever I want to? You're holding my leg. You're busy. I bring that to you because it's an example you'll remember, and it's what Allen is doing right now. These guys are going to the second round. In this fight, I can see 2 good athletes in it. We're not getting a lot of action, though. We're not getting a lot of action because Allen keeps on giving his guns back. I'm in a gunfight. Here, hold hold these pistols for me. I'll be right back. I guess. I'm being hard on Allen. Allen's winning the fight. Allen won that round. I'm speaking to what he could do even better.
Hey, who do you think Francis will end up fighting next?
Oh, who do I think Francis will fight next? Francis is going to fight Derek next. I do believe of the big three, which would be Derek, which would be John, which would be Stipe, I think all of those fights are Francis's next three fights. I think the only thing we're arguing about right now is the order. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. But I also believe the competitor, John Jones, is going to come back. He's left town. I think he's going to come back. I just don't think he'll come back in time to be next. Derek's going to go next. And maybe Stipe after that. We might have to wait 2 fights for John to get that hunger back, but I think it'll come back. All right. Youssef stalking him. Now Allen's really, boy, Allen's light on his. Ooh, Allen with a teep to the body. Well done. Brought a knee up to defend a kick, and instead of setting it back down, he set it right in Youssef's gut. For this match, 100% guaranteed. I can see he's not stepping. He's gliding. His feet, he's just floating. That's a byproduct of the quarantine, by the way, guys. You're seeing guys coming in a little leaner in the quarantine, and you're seeing these guys moving a little bit more in the quarantine for one reason. They're running more because it's what they can do, and they're jumping rope alone in their garage more. They're doing it for a whole training set. You jump 5 minutes a day. They're in there jumping for an hour. Out running, you run a couple miles a day. They're out running 5 and 6. That's all they can do. But we're seeing a lot of guys, their bodies look a little bit leaner, and their movement's better. Well,
hey, were you a jump rope guy?
I was. Clayton Hires made me be, but I know a guy. I would encourage you guys to look him up online. His name's Buddy Lee. Buddy Lee was a 1992 Olympian, Greco-Roman wrestling, but he's a professional jump roper. He gets paid to jump rope, and I have seen him perform. I have been in the audience at things where he's been brought in and paid to do it. It's unbelievable. I have to tell you that because you're probably, Chael, what could you do with a jump rope? He can. He'll jump rope and hit a backflip and not miss the beat, right? Just like you and I would do this, and then if we're really good, we'd cross, and if we're really, really good, we'd jump under the rope twice and then go into a – no, this guy will hit a backflip. Jump, flip. And I'm still not giving him justice. You want to know why I bring him up? Because I wanted to be able to jump rope like him because I thought it looked fun. And if I could have fun while exercising, that's the ultimate, right? It's like every teacher's goal. All right, we got a little scramble here. Arnold's trying to get around behind. Arnold's taking the back. He doesn't have his legs in yet. And by the way, if you ever find yourself putting his hooks in, if you find yourself saying that, you're a bit of a dork. They're called legs. He puts his legs in. Doesn't have hooks out there. All right, these guys are back on their feet. We got a high-paced match here. Very high-paced match, about halfway through it. So it's just like every teacher in education. Your ultimate goal is to entertain while educating. It's your ultimate goal. You can just usually not do it. So you just educate and try to keep a kid's attention. But the same thing goes if you can have fun while exercising. And most exercise I did wasn't fun. It was discipline. Here's what we're going to do. Bell goes off. Move on to the next thing as quickly as you can. Work your ass off. Go home at the end of it. Buddy Lee was doing this jump rope thing, and he did it in such a, he was treating the jump rope like nunchucks in between. It was so cool. I thought, man, if I can learn how to do that and I could go do that for 30, 35 minutes, I could get my full workout and have fun. It's going to be a home run. So I bought this guy's DVDs. He was selling them online. I bought his DVDs. Oh, it was garbage. He didn't show anything. I don't know if Buddy Lee is a terrible coach or if he's a con man, but he's one of the two. I tend to think he's just a terrible coach because he seems like a very honest guy. But if you ever go buy his DVD and he promises he'll show you how to jump rope, man, I wanted my money. And I know Buddy Lee. Known him 30 years. I still wanted my money back. Terrible. You jump up and your feet come up and the rope goes down. I mean, this is the kind of stuff he was saying. It was terrible. Promised to give his secrets away. It's terrible. Buddy Lee, you owe me $10. All right. Guys, I got to tell you, I was right in predicting for you that this was going to be a good fight. This is a good fight. This is very competitive. I was wrong in telling you that this was going to be an explosive and potentially early ending fight. That's just simply not going to happen. You guys are just fighting a different style. Allen's moving real well. Youssef's coming to some power. Allen's got to be smart about that, which means get inside. Get inside, get a hold of him. Allen's doing everything right, even if I'm being hard on him. Allen's got him against the fence right now, but he's doing the same damn thing. He's keeping his hands busy. Get your hands free, Allen. You're in a fist fight. Quit tying up your own hands. Allen with a head kick there. Oh, Allen's moving well. Oh, Allen's moving around the... Oh, I hope you guys are watching this. People don't move like that. That takes extreme training. Extreme training. Tons of shadow boxing to float. Allen is floating. Oh, look at him. These guys just aren't landing the shots that I thought they would land. They're both known for this. They're both known. Boom, put somebody down. Punches and bunches. A lot of power behind them. Not doing it. Just more clinch work. It's one of those nights. It's a hard night, though. These guys are working hard. These guys are tired. They're out there pushing. All right. Oh, I'm getting a screenshot sent to me here. Another screenshot. All right. Got fans went over to Hayabusa Fight, and you're sending me your order, man. Good for you. Good for you. You're making old Chael look good to Hayabusa. I appreciate that. Again, guys, we're going to be back. We're going to be back. I want you to set a calendar. I don't know how we're going to do it, but that's on me. I'll figure it out. We're going to call the Paul fight. We're going to do the Paul Askren fight. Give you guys a good breakdown of that. I watched Bellator last night. Machida versus Bader, two guys that I've destroyed before. Good match. 25. Ryan Bader's getting better. Machida is not getting better. That's okay. Machida's doing what a normal human being does. Bader, getting better. You guys remember when Robbie Lawler did that? As good as Robbie Lawler was, but remember when he got better around 33 years old? You go, that's not how this works. I see Bader doing that same thing. Bader's getting better. All right. Allen's back in. He's back in. He's pressuring Youssef. Oh, now he's in on a single with his hands locked. I don't know what Allen's thinking, tying up his own hands. I'm being critical of him, but this is giving him tough love. Allen comes and watches this. If he's not able to figure out why you can't hit his opponents because you keep tying up your own damn hands. Hands should never be in the same place for more than a second. Never, never, never. Neither should your feet. Allen's got that down with his feet. His feet are moving. His feet have not been planted this whole fight. His hands, he's tying them up. All right. Allen's doing a good job with ring control, though. Allen's winning this fight. It's very even in terms of strikes is why I'm talking about this, right? And there's an order that the judges have to go through. You start with damage, but you will eventually work yourself down to cage control. It's not a primary concern, but when all other things are equal, this is very equal. Allen has not dominated the wrestling like your eyes might tell you he has. He's tried to dominate wrestling more, but Youssef scrambled out from the only takedown, and Youssef's kept himself against the fence. Allen, if you do want to come down to cage control, which you eventually are going to default to that, does have more of it. Two guys are up against the fence. One guy's back is against the fence. All things are equal. Guy who's being held against the fence losing the position. But it's not the first criteria. First criteria is damage. All right, Youssef. Little deja vu here. Youssef holding Arnold against the fence. All right, there Arnold gets his underhook, and now he gets out. And look at Arnold's right hand. It's finally free. It's finally against the fence, and he would have been free to strike. Look at Allen's feet, guys. Look at his feet. They never stopped. There's not 1 second, not a full 1001, not a full second of this fight where his feet have stopped. I only bring that to you because the rule's also true with your hands. Look at where his hands are right now. 1001. 1002. Start the count over. 1001. 1002. Look at his hand. 1003. Look at his other hand. 1004. You guys see the problem? His feet never stop moving. His hands all fight. He stopped them on his own. Not his opponents reached out and stopped him. He stopped him. Youssef's in the same spot. He's trying to get his hands locked. For what? What your hands locked for? And I'll listen if you're going to pull the guy off, if you're going to step behind, if you're going to trip, if you're going to body lock. There's a number of techniques where you got to have your hands locked. They're not doing them. They're just locking their hand. Well, how do I hit a guy? My hands are locked. And why are my hands locked if I'm not dragging you down the canvas? See the problem? All right. Youssef now in control of this position, at least in terms of he is not the one with his back against the fence. Youssef is winning this round. I think he's down 2. This is a close fight. I think Youssef's down 2 rounds, though. He's looking good in this part of it. All right. Arnold's off the fence. His feet still moving. His hands are still tied up. And we're 50% there, right? I don't have a whole lot to complain about. I'm pretty impressed. Both of these guys, pretty impressive. But there's not a lot of strikes going on. And we've identified why. Because you keep on freezing up your own damn hands. 1001, 1002, 1003. Plus I started late. 1005, 1000. See the problem? Why would you give your hands? Why would you possibly give your hands away? Youssef with those Travis Brown elbows. I got to tell you, those Travis Brown elbows don't work unless you're Travis Brown. Travis Brown would knock the hell out of people, get pushed up against the fence, and he would just crack you down like a dirty street fighting technique. Knocked out Josh Barnett with it. I mean, Travis Brown did this so well. I've hit people with those. I've been hit with those. They don't hurt. They don't do a damn thing. Unless you're Travis Brown. He must have a weird shaped elbow. All right, this fight is over. I got to tell you, I've been playing along, guys, because I don't want to be the skunk at the garden part. I'm glad this fight is over. Rush this thing up. Move them boys out of here. Let's get Big Mouth in here. I mean, I was over here playing nice as long as I could. I mean, did you hear me? They're really moving their feet, but not their hands. Like I stayed in character for a while there, but I'm only human, for God's sakes. By the way, Ridge Wallet. At Ridge, what, Ryan? What? You guys can't see my partner, Ryan. He's on Skype over here, but he's getting a kick out of me right now. Ridge Wallet. Go to Ridge Wallet. You do need a promo code for this one, and it's yours truly, Chael. And they always want me to spell that. They always want me to spell Chael. You know what? Not for nothing. I do realize that Chael is an uncommon, but you guys know. You guys know how to spell old Chael, right? And by the way, if you don't know, you'll never forget it. Want to know where I got the name Chael? Chael is the last 5 letters of Michael. They were going to name me Michael. My mom didn't like the name Mike as much. She thought I'd get called Mike. On the way to the hospital, she took off the M-I. Now, you'll always know how to spell Chael because you don't know how to spell Michael. So now you know how to spell Chael. Just drop the M-I. Chael. Go to Ridge Wallet. Use the promo code Chael. That's going to get you free worldwide shipping. By the way, 10% off for using Chael. And this has it's something crazy, guys. It's like a 45-day money-back guarantee. Any reason. You just decide you don't like it, which I've told the guys at Ridge, hey, man, my customers aren't really scumbags. They're not going to keep your product for a month and a half and then send it back. And Ridge is like, well, you tell them they can. We will take it back. No questions asked. They can try it out for 45 days. So don't do that to them, though. Okay, you got to know within 4 or 5 minutes if you want the wallet. Don't be a scumbag. But this wallet is different. Comes in titanium. I got a different one. I had to borrow Vince's today. I had to borrow my personal one is a burnt titanium. I think it's badass looking. Holds all your cards. Holds all the cash that you need. This will change your wallet game. You guys will remember Seinfeld. All right, Alan won. Did Alan win this fight? Alan won this fight. Thank goodness. I mean that it's over. Okay. You guys seen the Seinfeld, by the way? I'll put the wallet down. I want to leave you with one final thought. Did you see the Seinfeld? It's very famous where Costanza had that wallet and he could barely close it. So he was sticking it in his back pocket, but then he would sit on it all day and it threw his back off. That's a real story. I mean, that's a true thing that if you sit on your wallet and it's any kind of thickness, and it will take years, but you will throw the alignment off. That's a true story. This wallet, goes in your front pocket, which not for nothing, it's where a man puts his wallet. All right, don't be a little kid. A man puts his wallet in his front pocket, and a man has a Ridge wallet that he got at ridgewallet.com with the promo code Chael.
Someone called you Mike Sonnen. Your whole world is different if your name was Mike Sonnen.
Somebody is now calling me Mike Sonnen. My whole world is different if my name is Mike Sonnen. I mean, I got to tell you. And maybe better. Maybe for the better. I don't know. Chael wasn't the easiest name to grow up with. First day of class. You're just not going to get it right. All right, Cormier. I love Cormier as a commentator. Cormier is something that you're never going to get around. Like, if that's one of your dreams or goals, you want to go and be in Cormier's spot and wear the nice suit and talk to the fighters afterwards, good goal. I'm sure Cormier has a lot of fun. But if you want to do that, it's very hard to study and then be the next Daniel. And here's why. Daniel's the toughest guy in the room who comes across as the most playful. You just can't, right? I mean, see the problem? How do you get that deal? Daniel's the baddest dude in the room, but you see the little kid in him. He is genuinely excited to be talking to Alan right now, to be at an ABC, to be at a UFC Live, to just about to be calling the main event. It's genuine, and it comes through, and it's likable. I don't know how good Daniel is. In all fair, I don't know how good he is. I just know we like him. I know it would be different with Howden, but that's why. When the biggest, baddest dude in the room is also the friendliest, it's one of those things. You remember guys like that from high school, man. Those were the cool guys, though. Daniel's a cool guy.
Did you wrestle him?
He's not me, but I'm not in that ring. He's a cool enough guy. Ryan's asked me if I wrestled Daniel. I never did. We were separated by a weight class, and I was heavier. I was wrestling at 197. Daniel was wrestling at 184. And I had a teammate that wrestled Daniel twice, and the teammate beat him both times. Now, I bring that to you because Daniel still remembers that guy. His name's Doug Lee, and Doug was a stud. I lost to Doug for the state championship. Daniel lost to Doug at the NCAA championships. Brad Varing lost to Doug 2 different times. Doug was just one of these guys, but Daniel and Varing and myself, we loved wrestling. Doug was just really good at wrestling. Doug loved it. 7 minutes at a time for 3 months a year. We loved it all the time. So when this guy could just slip in and beat us, it's one of those things where I will still call Doug and tell, hey, I was just talking, just saw Cormier, and he asked me how you're doing. And it'll always make Doug feel good. He'll even say stuff like, man, I can't believe he even remembers me. Doug was one of these killers that he just didn't know that about himself. All right, we got Vettori here. I think this is just the highlight tape, not the walkout, though. I looked down and now I'm looking up. Having somebody ask me the name of that sponsor website. I don't know what you're talking about, but we did HayabusaFight.com. We did RidgeWallet.com.
Links in the description.
Link is in the description. I don't know what that means. I guess that's something on YouTube. I guess where you're watching the page, you can go down a little bit. There's a description. You click on the link. I don't see that. I'm looking at a screen right now. I have the fights on, so I'm not totally sure what you guys see with the link in the description. I'm trusting that you will know. Take that from Mike. Tell him Mike sent you. All right, we're getting a highlight reel. This is interesting because there was a few things that had to be ran back. There were a few eggs that had to be unfried. Starting with the fact that Holland told the world he's now a welterweight, but we're putting him in the main event at middle. I mean, it was like in promoting and building this fight, we just have to take that back. I personally have questions. I personally have a question, which is just, did Holland start the cut? And don't forget, if you're going to drop, if you're a tall, skinny glass of water like Holland is, you're going to have to change your body. You guys have seen, give you 2 examples, but you'll know them. Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo. When those guys went down to 135, they had to change the way they lived. They had to change a lifestyle to change their physiology at that point in their life. Now, I realize if even it was 2 or 3 weeks, I'm just asking, and I don't know the answer. Did Holland spend those 2 or 3 weeks from the day, 5 minutes after he fought Brunson and made this announcement to Megan O'Leary, and Brunson, I apologize, and Holland getting the call to do this fight with Vettori on short notice, Did he start that process? Because it's not a cut we're talking about. Again, Jose Aldo, Frank Yeager, think of those guys. Think about when you see those guys now. They look different. They have changed. It's not a cut. A cut is where you just pull out water weight. I am wondering if Kevin Holland started to change himself. I'm wondering if size is going to matter here. Vettori isn't the biggest middleweight. He's not as big as Brunson. All right, here comes Holland. He's talking. He said he wasn't going to talk to. He's already Holland's already talking. I got the volume down, guys. You might want to turn the volume down too. Kevin Holland drove us all bonkers last time, right? I'll keep you company here. Kevin Holland did say before this fight, he said, I won't be talking. And then he clarified that and said, as much. I won't be talking as much. Okay, fine. I don't know. I can just tell you he's not in the ring yet, and his mouth has not stopped moving. That I can confirm for you. So Kevin Holland looks hyped. He looks hyped. That's a word I don't think I've used in my 43 years. What the hell does it mean for a guy to be hyped? I mean, it felt right when I said it. He looks fired up.
Hey, does he need to talk less? Is that a necessity, or does it just need to be refined more?
I certainly don't want to see Kevin Holland stop talking during the fight. I'll tell you why. Kevin Holland is not attempting to get into his opponent's head. That is a misunderstanding by the announcers who then come out and tell it to the world. That's not what he's trying to do. That is Kevin Holland's message to himself. That is a reset button to himself, reminding himself that this can be more lighthearted than a steel cage fist fight on Saturday afternoon. He's trying to keep himself in the right frame of mind by trying to keep it a little bit more lackadaisical. I offer you that because if Kevin Holland shuts his mouth, he will stop a message coming to himself, of which 5 of 6 times last to bat worked out really well. The other side of it, at what point is he giving the message to himself? And now he's just, that's my new character and I marked out for my own gimmick. And that's what happened with Brunson. He marked out for his own gimmick. He thought he was entertaining. He thought the announcers were loving it. He thought Dana White thought he was the funniest guy in the world. He thought Khabib was his new friend. It was one of these things where when he got done, he looks back, okay, I was a little annoying there. I was annoying. I don't want to be annoying. I do want to keep giving a message to myself, so I'm going to talk less. It's what he said. It would be wise. I think he's going to do it. All right, what flag is this, Ryan? What flag is old Marvin? Angry. Oh, that's the Italian flag, of course.
Angry Marvin.
Yeah, Angry Marvin. And Angry Marvin calls himself something else. The Italian stallion, the Italian meatball. He calls himself something. Don't call him that anymore. He's Angry Marvin. Angry Marvin Vettori. That's his nickname.
It only works because you can call him it, because in real life he's super nice.
Oh, is he a nice guy?
He's a fantastic guy.
Did you used to train him, or you just trained in the room with him?
In the room with him, yeah.
I've never met him. I talk to Ali about him all the time. Ali's been big on this guy for years. I mean, Marvin's now, he's a main eventer. This is his second main event. He's a main event fighter, but he wasn't 2 years ago. And Ali was still telling me, man, you got to pay attention to this guy. You got to tell your viewers about him. They need to know Marvin's going to be around, and here he is, self-proclaimed number 1 contender.
Marvin is a cage fighter, born to do this.
I got no problem with self-proclaimed number 1 contender, by the way. How else are you going to do it? You're going to let a bunch of people that don't identify themselves, whose names never get mentioned, do that in a room in possibly South Nevada. We don't even know the location, let alone who's in the room. They're going to post it on a .com. And I ain't living my life that way. He proclaimed himself number 1 contender. Good enough for me. I had a coach, Mark Schultz. Mark Schultz fought Rickson Gracie. Mark Schultz is an Olympic champion, 3-time NCAA champion. Mark Schultz was training under Pedro Sauer in Provo, Utah. And Mark could beat everybody. He could beat everybody in the class so bad that Pedro would not train with him in front of the students anymore, but Pedro would not elevate Mark to a black belt. And when you go to actual jiu-jitsu competitions, you have to sign up under belt. So belt really matters. It really does matter. However, if you try to take a false valor, you will pay for it. You get your ass kicked in front of everybody. You get your arm broken in a competition. So it really matters, but that's also the checks and balances. Mark Schultz is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He went to Meyer and Frank and bought it. He shows back up at the jiu-jitsu gym wearing his own black belt. Now, to some of you, that's an interesting story. To any of you that are actual practitioners, you realize you can't do that. And Mark said, I'm tough enough to wear it, and if anybody doesn't think so, just come take it from me. And it was at that point that Pedro Sauer said, that is your black belt, Mark. You are a black belt. So, I mean, you tell me who's right in that story. I'm telling you, Marvin Vettori says he's the number one contender. You don't think he is? Do something about it. That's the message. It's real simple. This is real simple. We're not getting sophisticated here. Marvin Vettori says he's the number one contender.
With a big win, is he?
Yeah. There's an unknown group that may or may not be operating out of an unknown office in South Nevada that says somebody else's. Who are you going to listen to? The unknown group that meets every Tuesday at 9 a.m., or are you going to listen to Marvin Vettori? I mean, those are your choices. Those are your choices. I'm listening to Marvin. Quite frankly, I'm listening to Marvin. He's going to need to win this fight. And he's got a big problem on his hands. I really think these guys are going to go back and forth. I think they're going to pass some rounds. I think they're going to pass some moments back and forth. Kevin Holland's going to touch Marvin. He's going to swarm him. Marvin's going to step in and hurt Kevin Holland. I think they're going to go back and forth a little bit. Whether that's rounds, this round to this guy and this round to that, or it's just sequences. At some point, what I just said for you is going to prove to be very true. These guys are going to beat each other up in just a second. Marvin is going to have to get over, and he's got about 4 seconds left to do it. He is going to have to get over this reach. The whole business with the reach and the awkward body and the style, he's going to have to just step in and get into the fire here. Marvin's a tough guy, man. Kevin Holland's a tough guy. Kevin Holland fought 6 times in the last 12 months. That's Cowboy Cerrone-esque.
Is there diminishing returns on that type of frequency?
Yeah, then you start to run into the question, does that build momentum for you or does it take away? A lot of that has to do with the fight. And we just fought Brunson 25 minutes, but it was largely a grappling match, right? I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fight. All right, we're underway here. Holland using those long legs. He's touched Vettori twice. Vittori's not scared. Vettori's not scared. Vettori's in range right now. He stepped right into it. He hasn't done anything yet, but he's in range. Vettori stepped right into the fire.
Tell people what the clock says so they can follow along.
All right. Ryan's telling me to tell you what the clock says. 4 minutes, 35 seconds. Is that what you mean, Ryan? The time? Oh, what? Okay. Holland used one of them long legs. And Mauro Ranallo once eloquently said, he just kicked his opponent where Adam once held a fig leaf.
Yeah,
the balls, guys. I'm talking about, he kicked him in the balls, okay? Where Adam once held a fig leaf. Great Mauro Ranallo said that on a broadcast one time. Like, oh, Mauro, you are a genius.
Whoa.
Adam wants a biblical reference in the middle of a fist fight. Only Mauro, that's a bad one, too. I mean, he got him. Ooh. And I'm never mad, right? Like some guys get mad. I'm never mad. I'm always very understanding because of the size of the target when I get hit there. But I mean, for some guys, like that's a 1 in a million shot. It's a very unlikely shot. It was part of training for me on a pretty regular basis. All right. These guys.
Keep people posted on the time.
Yeah. All right, Ryan's telling me to post you guys on the time. I was assuming you're watching this on mute. Is that not the case? All right, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And guys, I got to let you in on something. If we're all going to be friends and spending our Saturdays together, okay, something old Chael has done, but behind your back, I got to wear glasses now. I just don't like when you guys see me in glasses because they're readers. They're the ones where, I mean, I'll age myself 20, 25 years just by putting them on. So I don't know how well I'm going to see this clock, but Ryan's I'm looking at it. It says about 4 minutes and 5. Oh, Marvin's pissed. Marvin's pissed. He doesn't like getting kicked in the nuts. Oh, he just took another shot. He took a knee. He's not saying anything. He just got a knee to the nuts, but he's not saying anything this time. He's fighting through it. Oh, Martin's getting his head involved now. Marvin's got Holland slapping him. Marvin has Holland pushed up against the fence. Marvin is getting his head engaged, and Holland is taking an open hand Diaz style and has slapped Marvin in the mouth, but also in the ear. If you're ever going to hit somebody in the ear, it's better to slap them than it is to punch them. All right, I'm sorry. I'm watching that. I thought Holland was saying something. All right, Marvin's right back in. Marvin is clinched to clinch. He's getting his head involved. He's got Holland pushed on the fence. That is relevant. I understand that Marvin isn't having success here. And Marvin hasn't yet even tried to sweep the feet out. I'm thinking possibly this isn't one of Marvin's key positions. However, it does speak to the point that I was attempting to predict for you earlier. Will Marvin step in? Yes, Marvin has stepped in. He stepped in all night. He doesn't know. There's something here called a twist. Marvin doesn't, it looks like he doesn't know how to do the twist, and he's also not intertangling the legs. It's not that he's failing with some of the Khabib sweeps. He's not trying them, and that's okay. That's okay. Marvin's getting better in front of our eyes. It looks like maybe we've just found a position it's a little unfamiliar with. Marvin's dropped down to the legs here. If he can get his hands locked, he's going to take Holland for a ride. Guys, huge misconception. Do not believe your eyes. If you watched Holland's last fight and you came away thinking he doesn't know how to stop a takedown, we don't know. Because in that fight, Holland versus Brunson, Holland cooperated with Brunson. When Brunson wanted to take the fight to the ground, Holland cooperated, thinking I can do better work on the ground than I can where we're at. So we had a real misconception of Holland's takedown abilities and or weaknesses. We don't know. And your eyes might not have told you that, but that was happening. And if that is correct, and it is correct, Holland can change that in his mind. He doesn't have to go to the practice room and work on takedown defense. He can just change up here and say, well, I'm going to fight those a little bit harder. And that's what he's doing. As I tell you that, Marvin's pulled him off the fence and got him down. Holland's creating space, though. Holland's not going to stay on his ground. Holland did a great job with some leg kicks. Holland did, right away created some space. One of the mistakes Holland made with Brunson, he didn't allow space. He allowed moments to happen on the ground. If you don't want to be there, get your ass up. You're responsible for it. But do it, and Holland is showing that he at least possesses its ability. It looks as though the 1:10 left here in this round, it looks as though Holland possibly is going to stay down here and answer the question for himself. Can I win this with jiu-jitsu?
Does Holland look like he made some changes from last time?
Well, I'm seeing. I feel like I'm speaking to his changes right now. But I will tell you this: one thing that Holland did last time with Brunson is he stayed in this position underneath for 22 of 25 minutes, thinking I can eventually catch him. He needs to come to that conclusion quickly. He's got 45 seconds left in this round in this position, and he needs to come to this conclusion of can I succeed here or not? And he just got a reversal, or at least a sweep on Vettori. Now, Vettori may not have done enough damage in that, but Vettori could still lose this round. Don't let that one position. We got 20 seconds left. If Holland can leave a lasting impression, Holland can win this round. Vettori did not do enough damage to guarantee likely they will give him this round. Likely. But it's not a guarantee. And Holland did have some good strikes prior to that. All right, Vettori stepping in. Vettori's going to be the one leaving the judges with the final impression. All right. Round one done. Neither guy, man, I must tell you, sometimes it's hard to know when a guy is tired. I mean, a guy can hide that for a while. But neither guy looks like they're fatigued. We're 5 minutes in. We got up to 20 minutes left. Neither guy looks like he's fatigued.
What about the groin strike? Any impact?
I don't think the groin strike's going to have an impact. Marvin seemed to have shut that out and put that behind him. And he seems to have. And that's okay. Sometimes the guy's an actor. That's okay. It doesn't matter how you feel. It matters how you act. People love to tell you that it's mind. This is mental, not physical. That's not true. That's not true. The judges will not mark that sheet for whoever feels better right now. They're going to mark for whoever physically did more to the other one. At some point in this fight, when it becomes championship, right? Yeah, we're going to see some mental toughness. I'm just sharing with you that it doesn't matter. If Vettori's acting as though the groin shot no longer hurts him, then it doesn't hurt him. All right, Herb's in between them. Vettori's staring him down. I wish I knew if Holland was putting the mouth to him. I mean, I would be a little bit curious how Holland behaved between rounds, just to juxtapose that against his last fight.
Who'd you give the first round to?
I'm giving the first round to Marvin, but I'll tell you right now, it's not a guarantee. I know Marvin had the takedown. I'm just reminding you, he didn't do anything with it. I still believe it's enough. But Holland did have some very good punches and kicks early on. Marvin is my final answer, but I won't cry robbery. All right, Marvin, again, great job getting inside. Now, right here is where Holland is going to have to show his merit. Nope, and he got drugged down. Holland putting in a guillotine, but a guillotine does not work if you're at a minimum in half guard. Full guard would be better. If you're not at a minimum in half guard, forget it. And I used a word there. I said this is where he needs to show his merit in reference to Holland. Not the word choice I was looking for. But when he gets up against the fence, there's a couple of things that Holland has to do, that all fighters have to do, but that Holland did not do against Brunson. So it'd be a good to show his mettle, to show what he's learned. That's the word I was looking for. That's the M word I was looking for. But that's just to bend your knees a little bit. This much will make you feel 30 pounds heavier. And you want to kind of sink your ass. Think about your butt. Okay, it's your hips, but because it's behind you, think of your butt. You really want to sink that ass right into the fence. Nice and tight. You want to feel the fence pushing. That's when you know you've lowered yourself. That's when you're going to feel that weight, but it'll feel like you've gained 30 pounds. When you stand up all the way tall, you're just lighter. You just feel lighter. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing pulling down against that resistance. Oop. Vettori got him right up. Vettori swarmed him now. I told you last time Marvin was on top, he didn't score points. He's scoring now. Now, if he wants to do the big damage or get a TKO, he's going to need to get his chest off his opponents. Right here. Now when you have separation, now you can bring down the real power. Holland knows that, so Holland's tying up the hands. He knows that he's in a precarious spot. But the same thing goes for Holland. If you want to find a submission, you're not going to find it when the guy's chest is on your chest. It's the in-between. You have to offer a threat, some kind of a distraction. All right, Vettori's in a good spot here. Vettori needs to just let this right hand go. Mark Munoz Mark used to call it the Donkey Kong punch. Bring that back to your hand down. I mean, just like a karate guy chopping the fake bricks, but that same kind of motion over and over and over and over. You're not going to finish the fight, but you're not going to tire yourself out either. You're going to score a lot of points. Vettori right now with his right hand, he's doing good. He could do better. Vettori is not in jeopardy of being submitted. And I don't know if Holland knows it. A lot of times in a fight, particularly on the ground, both guys are playing the same game, which is I'm not where I want to be, but to get to a better position, I'm going to wait for you to move. But if both guys do that and one guy's in a better position, you see the problem, and that's what just happened. Holland was not where he wanted to be, but instead of getting himself out of it, he was waiting for Vettori to change the position. Well, when Vettori realized you're stuck, he just stayed there. Bah, 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 bah. You'll see that a lot in a fight. See that a lot in a fight where two guys, one of them's just hoping. All right, I can't get myself. Let's wait till you move. Let's wait till your weight shifts. Marvin was too smart for it. Oh, Angry Marvin is in the exact same position. This is the exact same position I was just calling for you guys. Holland can do nothing from here. Nothing. Marvin does not need to there. Okay, Holland got himself out of it. The one valuable thing, it's very valuable, that Holland learned this now. He learned it with Brunson. He's getting reminded tonight. Jiu-jitsu is not an effective strategy in a cage fight. The year 1993, when Hoy showed it to us all, jiu-jitsu is just not effective. Once a guy is tired and wants out, is when jiu-jitsu will work. When he can cooperate with you. Say, I've had enough. Give up his back. Take a rear naked choke. Tap out. Nobody questions it. That's the reality, though. And nobody wants to admit it. But that's the reality. And I'm not sure that Holland was aware of this. I think that Holland, as youthful as he was, truly believed that a high-level jiu-jitsu could win a cage fight. It can't. And it doesn't. Ever. Ever. By the time you reach the main event. Fatigue, you might find a submission when the guy's ready to cooperate with you. You will never overpower a guy or ever have a technique that is so superior by the time you reach main event that you can tap a guy out from bottom. And Holland really needs to, I hope that he's taking these lessons, right? I hope that he's taking these lessons. I want Holland to have as good of a 2021 as he did in 2020.
Holland's eyes closing, left eye.
No. Holland took some big shots. When Holland was down and pinned up against the fence and Marvin was tapping him there, that's when I was, he could do harder. He could do the Donkey Kong punches, but it was that position. Right? You'll hear effective strike. I don't know where that term came from because I don't know what the opposite means. If you have an effective strike, then what's the other word we use for strike, right? If you have the word strike involved, you have a big goddamn problem on your hands. There's no such thing as an easy strike, a light strike, a foot strike, an elbow strike, a knee strike, a left-hand strike, a right-handed strike. If the word strike is involved, you have a problem. So I don't know where effective comes from, and I only bring that to you because I think you're seeing this all over Kevin Holland's face right now. Marvin never had those big shots, but he had a lot of shots. Shot, just like the word strike. I don't think it matters what I say in front of it. Big, little, lot of 1, 10. Shot. If you got a shot to your face from a cage fighter, you have a problem. All right. Doctor came in to be seen on TV and for absolutely no other reason. Every now and then they like to do that. Oh, let me get in there and check him out. Yeah. Oh, okay, Doc. Do you really need? Okay. All right. The camera picked you up, Doc. Are we good here? Yeah. Yeah. Was it my good side? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then I guess the fight can resume. All right, Marvin's still walking him down, guys. I mean, this was Marvin, good job. Oh, Holland, get up there. Get up there, Kevin. I know you don't want to go down. Don't do this, Kevin. Come on, prove this to yourself. Kevin, come inside. Come inside. You're over the arm. You can't be over, Kevin. You got to be underhook. All right. Marvin Vettori has answered the question. Is he scared to step in? No, at all. And if he is scared, he's doing it anyway. Angry Marvin is causing a fight to happen. Kevin is getting overwhelmed in this position. I don't want him to check out mentally. Kevin's a very mentally tough guy. I do not want him to start checking out. And the lack of resistance that he offered in those last 2 takedowns tells me he's having a conversation with himself right now, and it's going something like this. I don't want to fight at this weight class anymore. I want to go down to 170. I want a meaningful fight. I don't want to go backwards on the roster. I'm going to go down to 170. I'm going to get a fresh coat of paint. Maybe I'll call out Chimaev to keep my name hot, but I don't want to be in here with guys like this.
Does he need a different opponent before Chimaev, though?
All right. I think this fight's going to... Kevin Holland is starting to check out of this fight from a mental standpoint, and he's now in what's called a head and arm choke. Now, a head and arm choke, much like a rear naked choke, much like any submission, it's an opportunity to get out if you want it. Kevin hasn't taken it yet. So when I tell you that Kevin is starting to fall apart and done are 2 different things. And Holland is passing a big test right now. Because he could, Holland survived. Holland could have tapped right there and nobody would question it. He's not ready to be done. I tell you, he's falling apart. Please hear I haven't said he's fallen apart. I said he's falling. He can correct that. That's what Usman does so well. That's what Cejudo does so well. It's called reset. You've got to reset and recompose yourself. It's very, very hard to do. You're ever in a strenuous situation, once you check out, checking back in is very hard to do. I can only name 2 guys, Cejudo and Usman, but I just named 2 of the greatest of all time. All right, Vettori with a good leg check right there. Oh, he gave Holland a stiff left down the middle. Vettori backing on the legs. Holland, quit coming over these arms. No, that ain't going to work. You got to come inside. Dog nabbit, guys. He's coming over the arms like he's going to do a guillotine. There's no guillotine chokes, man. There's no submissions. There's no submissions in main events. Never has been. And you have your choice, submission or position. Always go with position. Always. Frank Shamrock was famous. Why would I pass guard? Don't pass guard. Get in guard and pound. George St. Pierre, always position. Always. And then you can get greedy and start looking for submissions. Holland is thinking submission over position. You can't do that. That's grappling rules. That's submission underground rules. This unified rules. It's position, then submission. And there's a big gap. It's position And then it's submission. All right. Marvin is just not afraid to be in a fight. Marvin is in range right now. Anytime Holland wants to hit him, he can. And if Marvin wants to take that away, all Marvin has to do is back up. He's just refusing to do it. Marvin is in the fire right now. Oh, there Holland goes. There he goes to the head. Holland can hit him anytime he wants. It's an energy issue at this point. Holland with a big uppercut. Oh, Marvin took that. Oh, Marvin, you gangster. Huge uppercut right there by Holland. You might have missed it. You might have missed it. If you didn't see it land, then you wouldn't know it did land because it didn't buckle Vettori. It didn't make him change anything. The biggest shot of the fight so far. All right, we're back. Deja vu. We're back against the fence. Now, this is the same position. Holland, you got to come inside. There's an arm inside. And guess what's going to happen, Kev? You're not going to get taken down this time. Now, bring the other arm inside, you turkey. Bring them both inside. There you go. Now, Kevin Holland's coming back. All right, Vettori shook that one off. Like Vettori even said something to him. But I don't know. I don't know if Holland is all right. Holland's come. Oh, okay. Huge shot there by Holland. Holland hurt him, but okay, it's time. It's time. Holland hurt him. Holland didn't do enough to win the round, but Holland's coming on. Look, it's a big question. These are championship rounds. I don't know that either guy is tested in them. Vettori's last fight, he went rounds 4 and 5. Holland's last fight, he went rounds 4 and 5. Talking about tested in them. Talking about tested. I'm talking about having to come back. Vettori doesn't need to come back. He's up 3 rounds to none. Holland needs to come back, but Vettori's got to hold up.
How's the psychology with 5 rounds versus 3 as a competitor?
5 rounds versus 3 is very, very different. It's very, very different. And the biggest thing you're going to ask yourself when you're asking yourself, are you ready? Are you ready is speaking directly to your confidence. Your confidence is tied to one thing and one thing only, which is your level of conditioning. You will never have confidence from having a big, powerful right hand or a good triangle choke. You will ask yourself at the last minute in the locker room, when you're searching for your mouthpiece before you make the walk, can I be here at the end of the night if the end of the night comes? Can I be here more than he's here? If the answer is yes, at least you believe it to truly be yes, you will then have confidence for the fight. If you go out there apprehensive or with trepidations, it's because you don't have a confidence in that. And that's okay. There's nothing you can do to control. Oh, Vettori's coming after him now. Boy, angry Marvin. Angry Marvin shows it. All right, Holland's doing a great job with these leg kicks to the head. He's thrown 3 of them all fight and landed all 3. Why he hasn't thrown 30 is beyond me. Okay, Holland's coming on. Marvin's doing a good job of blocking here, but some of these are getting through. I don't know that Kevin Holland has enough fuel in the tank. All right, there, Holland with a body kick.
Does Holland have to finish to win?
All right, Holland is, Vettori's in on a shot. Holland is not inside. Last time, the only shot he defended, he came inside. He did not come inside, and guess what? He's taken down. Holland's learning some stuff here. He's got stuff he's got to learn. He's been learning on the fly right in front of us, but he's now a main event guy, which means he's open to criticism. I'm being critical, but I'm being critical from a standpoint that it is so obvious how to fix these problems. And it's not a matter of that I believe he doesn't know how to do them because I'm watching him. He just did it. He just came inside, stopped the takedown. Same exact position. He comes over the top again, like the 4 other times he's been taken down. Of course he's taken down again. Can't defend a takedown coming over the top. You have to come inside. It's a battle for inside, right? The guy beat you. That's how he got to your legs. Well, you're not down yet. Fix it. 3.5 minutes left. I got to tell you, these guys are passing the test. And I'm sitting here telling you there's championship round test going on. These guys are passing the test. Holland does not have the energy needed to overcome the colossal hole that he's found himself in. But he's also not in jeopardy of getting stopped. Holland is not. He's got enough energy to continue to protect himself intelligently. It would take another gear. Take one more gear to overcome. He doesn't have that, but he has got no quit in him. Holland's back up to his feet. Vettori's following him. All right, same exact position. Holland, are you going to come inside? Holland, are you going to come inside, Kevin Holland? No, you're not. And you're back down. This time into a mount. 2.5 minutes left in the round here. Vettori's on a full mount. And this is a question. Most dominant position in fighting is the full mount. However, strategically speaking, if there's 7 minutes and 15 seconds left in the contest and you're winning every round, is there any reason for you to sit up and begin to strike and pound and use that energy? You've already beaten your opponent. The only thing you have to beat now is the clock, and you're in the sport's most dominant position, which means the referee's not going to stop you here. Referee's not going to break the action. This is the conversation that Marvin's having with himself right now. How much do I want to do? I no longer have to beat this man. He has to beat me. I don't have to beat him. I have all the points that I need. I do have to run out that goddamn clock, though. So now you want to start to be smart. And I assure you, I spent most of my career looking for this very position. And you're always taking inventory, right? Okay. Vettori was in half guard. But, well, the ref's not going to stop it in half guard. Now Vettori's closed in the full guard. Well, now I got to get a little busy. Referee might stop this. The officials are stopping it a lot less now and bringing action to the feet in the pandemic. The reason for that is the officials will operate off of the crowd. You want your official to be a brave guy. He's just not. He will do what the crowd wants him to do. So in the absence of a crowd and the absence of the boos and the peer pressures created by that audience, the referees are leaving these fights on the canvas longer. I think that's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm making an observation for you, but I'm also telling you why. I'm identifying why. 45 seconds. All right, Holland just jumped back into guard. I apologize. Vettori was in half guard, and he elected to jump back into full guard. And that's okay. That means that Holland's doing something good. Holland's doing something right that made Marvin go, I don't know where I am. I'm confused by this position. I understand. Here, but let's go back to guard. Very, very uncommon that a guy would ever jump back into guard. Vettori jumped into guard. You know, Ryan, let me speak to you. Holland brings his leg over. He's going to have an arm bar. No, Vettori's got his elbow through. Don't look at the legs, guys. Look at Vettori's right elbow. All right, he's safe now. If I had instant replay, guys, if I had the ability to show you this, I would run it back about 8 seconds and show you. Kevin Holland, all he had to do was bring his leg over. Vettori was stuck, but he knew that. So Vettori pulled his elbow into a safe place, which would allow for Holland to bring that leg all the way over, but now the arm's gone. That was a very tactical play by Marvin Vettori. Maybe the smartest and most intelligent thing he's done tonight. And he did it with 5 seconds left in a championship round. Because this is where the test is. We're talking about Vettori becoming a number one contender. That means how can he do in the championship rounds when he's fighting for a championship? Well, he's thinking right now. He's in a championship round. He's doing real well.
Is this enough to get Izzy's attention?
Is this enough to get Adesanya's attention? Look, you don't get Adesanya's attention by doing something good in the cage, because Adesanya just doesn't fear anybody. He's the best. He has a belt that represents and shows the world. I mean, right? It's not really a debate. Adesanya is the best. That's what the belt means. So you're not going to do something from a physical standpoint to gain his curiosity. You could do it on the microphone. You have to insult Adesanya, and you have to insult him just the right way. If you try to be too cutesy with it, he'll dismiss you. He'll think you're the class clown. And if Adesanya labels you class clown, you're the class clown. You need the blessing of Adesanya. No other. Oh, boy, Holland with 2 strikes. Holland just threw a third one. It missed. It would have landed. All right, Vettori comes right back in on a double. Vettori did that with urgency, and there was an urgency. Get this thing to the ground.
Give us a time check, the countdown clock.
All right, we're only 40 seconds here into the 5th and final round. Vettori had a real urgency with this takedown. You could see he was running his feet. He was getting to that quicker. That's because Holland touched him a couple of times. Holland still got in. Guys, Holland has not quit. I told you he was checking out mentally. I'm right about that. He was starting to get down on himself. That's true. He was starting to get frustrated. I'm right. But Holland is not quitting. Generally, they're real quick. Guy starts to get down on himself. He starts to get frustrated. He looks for a way out. It usually comes pretty quick. Holland did 2 of those. He's not doing the third. Holland's a tough guy. Holland at 170 is very interesting. He's going to need to learn how to stop these goddamn takedowns. Unless we're just going to say to hell with it and put him in there with Nick Diaz. 2 guys, but they both hate to stop takedowns, but they hate to go for him. Okay, great. Might have just made a fight for you, Nick. All right, what do we got here? 15 seconds. Little clock by the UFC. Well, I gotta give the 3 minutes and 15. So I only saw 2 of the numbers. Okay, we got just over 3 minutes. But good job by the UFC's production team. I like that outside clock. That was helpful. Oh, Vettori right back in, dog. Nab it. Kevin Holland, would you please get your hand inside? Inside. A wrestler can't take you down if you come inside. Whoever has inside gets the takedowns. Every time that this takedown exchange starts, Vettori's winning. Vettori's winning because he got inside with no interference. But until the takedown's done, you can still fix it. Just because you lost the first part of this battle doesn't mean you can't fix it. Stick your hand inside. You can wrestle for 1 week or for 100 weeks. The guy gets his hand inside. You're not going to take him down. I'm a little surprised that Kevin Holland has done this at one point in this very fight. It's not that he doesn't know how to do this. I'm not speaking down to him because he doesn't know how to do it. I'm speaking down to him because he's not doing it. I know he knows how to do it because he did it in the second round. He's never done it before. He's never done it since. I don't know why. Vettori starting to advance here. Oh, this is a great feeling. If you're ever winning a fight and there's about 2 minutes left, you're going to be tired. You want to be excited, right? It's a good feeling to win a fight. You only get 3 chances a year to do it. Over a whole career, you only get to have this feeling. So this great, wonderful feeling is in your near future. But what do? I still got to beat that clock. I don't get to stop anything until that goddamn clock says 0. Well, once you get to a full mount, you can exhale. I'm staying right here. No crowd, no one to boo me. I've done my job. See y'all in 3 months back in a main event. All right, Holland is up again. Holland, guys, I'm broken record over here, but Holland has got no quit in him. His takedown defense is garbage, but his heart's the hard thing. We can fix defense. Come on. I can fix his defense. Give me 48 hours with this guy. He'll never be taken down, at least not up against the fence. 2 days with Kevin Holland, never would he be taken down up against the fence. Out in the open, I need a little bit more time. But that isn't the story of this fight. The story of this fight and the Brunson fight is getting pushed up against the fence. Oh, the fence is your friend. Oh, I could show Holland so quickly. Those 48 hours, you come stay 2 nights with me. I need about 40 minutes on the mat. We'll go have dinner and shoot pool the rest of the time. You give me 2 days, Kevin, you'll never be taken down against the fence again. That's a literal statement. Holland's still trying to throw up a triangle. And Vettori's realizing, look, I'm not done yet. I mean, when you want to talk about championship rounds, Marvin Vettori and Holland's still not done. Holland's trying. Vettori's hanging on. Vettori's not backing down. You want to talk about can these guys fight championship rounds? Yes. Both of them. Respect. Full respect. Better fighter, Marvin Vettori. Tougher guy? I don't know. Jury's out. I don't know who's tougher.
He's going to be tomorrow.
That was a great job, particularly in that last round. And guys, think about what Holland is up against, okay? I mean, really think about it. Try to put yourself in Holland's shoes. The fight is over. You cannot win. Mathematically, is it impossible for you to win? Probability and likelihood completely against you that you can knock this man out at this point. You couldn't do it when you felt good. How are you going to get the energy or the opportunity to do it now, right? I mean, the fight's over. But he kept going. He hung in there. He tried the whole time. Finding a guy that will try the entire time is rare. And I know that's a word that you probably very first heard when you were 9 years old playing Little League the first time. And you probably think all athletes do it. All athletes want to do it. To try the entire time, particularly when you know I'm done, I've lost, it's over.
How beat up do your knees get? Look at Marvin's knee from ground and pound him for that long. How sore are your knees the next day?
Sure, guys. So look at Marvin's knees right now. I used to have the same problem, personalizing it a little bit, but I spent a lot of time in the same position that Marvin was in. It's that canvas. And it's, you guys can't see Marvin. I would be very curious if anybody it up, guys. I cannot turn the volume up. I would be in violation. It is owned by ABC, but I would be curious to hear from you guys if Marvin calls out Adesanya in just a second. I believe that he is going to. And frankly, I don't have a better idea. And I don't know. Dana will not announce this. That I can tell you. A promoter won't announce it when you have a big middleweight feature coming up in a week, right? Gastelum versus Whitaker is around the corner. So the promoter is not going to take hype or speculation off of that fight. But inside, Dana's got an opinion. He's got a big opinion. And I think it would be very wise for Marvin to take this shot. I don't know how much of a threat that is for Adesanya, quite frankly. That you might not excite Adesanya if you can't scare him. I don't know that Marvin's skills match up all that well with Adesanya's. But I think that that's also a possible selling feature, right? It all depends on the kind of animal you're dealing with and what mood he's in when you're dealing with him. Adesanya might go, look, this is great. My title's going to be protected. Guys are saying this is the guy. Let's go get him out of the way. Plan for bigger things. Possible scenario, right? We're talking about psychology of somebody else. It's a possible one.
Okay. Daniel said he has a middleweight record, middleweight takedown record.
Overall or just in that fight? Daniel Cormier just informed Marvin Vettori in the history of middleweights that he just got more takedowns in that round than ever before. Okay, someone was going to tell you a moment ago, when you saw Marvin's knees, you saw him all skinned up, right? They call that road rash, like a motorcycle guy that wrecks and slides on the gravel. You get that road rash, but it's because the canvas is so hard. The most pain I would ever be in was for being in a fight like Marvin's, where you spend a lot of time on top and you're rubbing that big bone on your big toe and then your knees into that sandpaper all night long. Oh, it hurts so bad. I'd put my socks on the next day. I'd fly home. I'd take my sock off and re-rip the skin off. Oh, I only share that with you because Ryan had mentioned, look at his knees. His knees are all red. That's a real thing. But you're fighting on a very good canvas, and you only have a couple of options for canvas. The other one is like a tarp. Well, a tarp over the course of the night, because of sweat, it turns into an ice skating rink. You don't want that. You want a canvas like the UFC's. However, right, like anything in life, there's a trade. Okay. All right, guys, let's wrap this thing up. I got to tell you, first off, this was fun. I got a few things going over here, and I know you guys give me no credit, right? I tell you I'm doing a live show. I've got to go do it. But on my side of the tracks, I had to get a new sound system for live. We had to bring in new camera stuff for live. So I'm hoping this worked. I hope you guys all enjoy it. But I do want to tell you this. Whatever corrections we need to make, we'll take care of on our side. We're going to be back. Paul versus Askren. I think we're going to have some real fun. And don't forget, it's us against them. So a few of you are saying that you hope Paul wins. Go ahead and predict whoever you want. Don't say you hope Paul wins. This is us against them, and Ben is representing us. Remember that. Ryan, is there a final message? I thought I heard you saying something. You're good, Ryan? Vince? Good. I've had it with you all, but I'll be back, and I'll let you know when. Did I mention Hayabusa Fight? Did I mention Ridge Wallet? Promo code Chael. 10% off? Maybe 20. Nobody knows. Till next time, I'm Chael Sonnen. I've had it with you all. Goodbye.